Hello, I'm Dwight,
And I'm DeWanda.
and we
We're
are
the
the Washingtons.
Washingtons.
And we want to welcome you again to another episode of the HELP podcast.
Mm.
And of course, that HELP stands for honesty, uh, empathy, love, and patience. And so we always say, we have a saying around here that every marriage needs help. And so we want to thank you for tuning in from whatever platform you're watching us on. And hopefully, something will be said today that will be beneficial to you and your situation. We are so excited about these podcasts. And of course, again, the reason why we do these is we've seen that there is seemingly a rash of breakdowns in marriages. And so we're just trying to do our part to uh, help couples to navigate the marriage piece. Anybody that's been married any length of time will testify to this that marriage is not easy. And it takes work. And a lot of times people are not willing to put the work in. And so we just wanted to just give our take on marriage. We're now at how many years, babe?
Almost 40.
Almost 40. And we'll be at 40 on what date?
I know the date.
What's the date?
June the 2nd.
June the 2nd.
Maybe you didn't know the date.
We always have to test her because
Whatever.
she forgets dates really bad. So that one was right, though, June the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
And we got married June the 2nd.
Mm-hmm. What do you want me
What
to say?
year?
Whatever June the 2nd,
Oh,
40
my
years
goodness.
ago was.
June the 2nd, 1984.
Mm-hmm.
We were both babies, really. But here we are 40 years later, and we're trying to reach back out to people who are on that journey and just try to be of some assistance and just add our voice to the many voices that are currently out there. Today, we want to just really drill down into this idea of baggage and the things that we bring into the relationships. Um, I did a sermon a few months ago, and I was coming from the book of Genesis, chapter number 2. And in Genesis chapter number 2, it speaks of a man leaving his father and mother and cleaving unto his wife. And then it says something very interesting that the two shall become one. And I don't think that we have really understood that word become, because that word become changes the whole tenor of that text. They become one. So anything that I have to become, that means I'm not that already. So when we're trying to become one, I think we have the notion or the understanding that just the marriage ceremony makes us one. But I think I've got at least two or three witnesses that are watching or will watch this podcast that will testify that just the ceremony alone does not make you one. A lot of times people spend tons of money on the ceremony, but they invest very little in uh, being married. Uh, Honey, tell them a little bit about our the events leading up to our ceremony, the many issues that we had trying to make it to the day.
To that wedding day. Whew, I cried. Let me see. First, like all your best men dropped out. So I had to switch some of your, not all your best men, all your groomsmen
All my groomsmen,
dropped out.
except for like one.
But yep, for one, and then I had to switch him to being your best man. So you had what, two best men,
I had two best men and maybe like one groomsman.
one
I
groomsman.
think I only had one best man.
Did you?
My brother. I think my brother was my best man.
Oh, you had two.
Okay.
Yep, you had two.
All right.
Yep. And all my girls, they stayed. So I had 8 girls.
and one eight, so 8 bridesmaids and one groomsman.
One groomsman. Let's all walk. Let them walk in by themselves. Yeah,
And
because
then
we ain't
have
got enough
and
men.
but we had a brilliant idea. I think our wedding coordinator came up with an idea that our one groomsman would stand up there and like welcome all of your bridesmaids, which it
Hmm.
ended up
It was good.
working out.
It
And
was.
remember, the organist
Organist
dropped out
dropped
the
out.
night before,
Yep, sure did.
uh, and we were trying to figure out who was going
Who
to
gonna
play for
play?
us.
Oh, we was scrambling
We
around
were
trying to
really
find
scrambling the day
somebody.
before, and of course, we had pictures taken,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't have the money to pay the photographer, so he
So
kept the pictures.
you ain't gonna pay me no no funds,
No,
no picture. So
no
yeah.
money, no pictures.
Yep, so
And
no
so to
pictures.
this day, 40 years later, we have like
Polaroid. I gotta find where that's at.
one
Somebody
Polaroid
gave
picture
us.
of our wedding,
Mm-hmm.
and and I marvel at the amounts of money people are spending on weddings.
Mm.
40,
I
50,
mean
sixty
big
thousand
bucks.
dollars,
Yeah.
and they're divorced 3 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, what if that money had been repurposed and invested in being married
Mm.
instead of a wedding?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
think maybe they would have made it a little bit
It
further.
could have helped. Yeah.
It wouldn't have hurt. So
Mm-hmm.
we laugh about that now, but
Hmm.
that
Ooh, I
it was it
cried.
was it
Yeah.
was very stressful, but we made it through it. We made it through the
Mm-hmm.
ceremony. We made it through the I do's,
Mm-hmm.
and now going on 40 years later, we're still doing it.
Yeah.
And so I tell people that it really does not matter how much money you spend on
Mm-hmm.
a ceremony. I would more so invest that money in being married,
Yeah.
taking trips, and in just enjoying
Mm-hmm.
each other, and
That's
just
it.
making life a good
Yeah,
situation, and
I agree.
working on the marriage. So, uh, when we remember that we all come from some place.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you and I came from two different uh, home situations, I
Mm-hmm.
guess I should say, uh, and we all bring the baggage of where we come from. We bring it into the
Yeah.
marriage, and I know for me, um, my my home life was a little bit different. Uh, both of us, our parents were married for many
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
uh, but I'm not really sure that they were actually happy. Uh, Once you begin to see what happiness really looks like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure that they were happy. But like most or many marriages back then,
Stay.
they stuck it out,
Mm-hmm.
and they took that for death do us part. Uh, Seriously,
Mm-hmm.
I cannot leave. Now I might be able to kill you and then leave, but I just can't
Can't
leave.
leave. Yeah.
Of course, I'm just kidding, America, and those of you
Yeah.
who are watching this podcast. But they stuck in there,
Mm-hmm.
and so that was the mindset that we had coming in. But we had to become one.
Right.
Uh, we really come in as pictures of our upbringing and what we saw.
Right.
So I saw a father that worked really hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I took that from him. Was a good provider, um, but wasn't supportive or nurturing. And so as I observed that as uh, a kid coming up, that was what I think I took into the marriage. I
Mm-hmm.
think early on I wasn't as nurturing, or I wasn't as supportive
Mm-hmm.
as I probably should have been, but I had never seen that. That was
Right.
that was not the example that I had seen as a child and a young man. Uh, so that's what I brought into it. It was you that taught me how to be more nurturing, how to be more supportive. Uh, I think you have been a great mother. You have,
Thank
if
you.
if I had to have if I had to pick a mother, and if you wasn't my wife, because then it would be a little weird. But but if I had to like pick the attributes of a mother, you would be what I would pick. You
Thank
are a
you.
great mother. So maybe you can tell our audience what what uh what you saw from your mother, because I think you have the attributes of your mother. What did you see from your mother as you were growing up?
Mm. She was very caring.
Yeah.
So she took, I mean, she loved on us and she cared for us. I mean,
When I met you, when I met you, uh, fortunately, she liked me. I think she liked
yeah,
me.
she did. She loved
Uh,
Dwight.
so I mean, she spoiled me as well,
Mm-hmm.
like making my favorite dishes. Uh, especially her famous peach cobbler was, oh Lord. Uh, I said, even if this marriage don't work, I got to stay in relationship with this woman because she is an awesome cook. But she just spoiled me as well.
Mm-hmm.
She was just very nurturing. And you've told me about how she would take you guys out on picnics and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, she used to ask Daddy, "Can you take us somewhere?" So he'd be like, "Where you want to go?" So we went, drove around, took us to picnics. She packed the lunch for us, and um, took a ball. Went in Kmart, bought a ball for us, and got our clothes on. And
Oh man.
we ready, and we went out there and we played, and we had our Kool-Aid and sandwiches and chips, everything, and it was just so fun. Just out there playing, and it was wonderful.
So she made your childhood fun.
Oh yeah, I think I had the best childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we are putting too much pressure on children to grow up too quickly.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we are
Absolutely.
making our children
Adults.
adults too soon.
Mhm.
And as a result, they don't know how to navigate it
Mhm.
because they're not ready for it.
So how are they going to teach their children?
Well, they'll probably end up dysfunction ends up uh I mean, we call it curses. And I don't
Mm.
I don't like that word. Uh it's just a matter of not having the proper training
Mhm.
and not having the proper information. I don't A lot of things that we in the church call curses, I just I think that's just a religious another religious thing that we do. But that's for another day and another subject.
Mhm.
I think Christ took all curses. Cursed is he that hangs on the tree. Galatians 3, I believe. Uh, so I think Jesus and the cross and Calvary took curses, but I think what we do have is a lack of training, a
Mm.
lack of examples, a lack of just nobody to help us
Yeah.
because everybody is dysfunctional and everybody is, they haven't seen good examples, and so therefore they don't know how to be good
Mm.
examples. We have nobody to speak into our lives.
Wow.
We have no examples of we have very few examples of successful marriages. Like everybody's on their second or third marriage. And remember the statistic I talked about last time
Mhm.
that we were together. Uh, the statistic was, I thought that if you've been married before, that if you're in your second marriage, it should work out pretty good because you know
You
what you
learn.
don't want.
Right.
But statistically, uh, people who have been married more than once, their success rates gets lower.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think that tells us something though. I
Yeah.
think I think that tells us that a lot of times people think that going to another relationship is going to help or be better, but they fail to realize that they're taking themselves
Mhm.
into that. And if you got a string of failed marriages, really the only common denominator is you.
Yeah, but I think that it can work, but you gotta have somebody speaking into your life. Like now, remember when you used to do that? Don't do that no more. I mean, you can't be the one talking to yourself because evidently yourself didn't do too good. You got to have somebody else speaking into your life. And I guess that's a mentor. Somebody like, look, you can't do that no more. It didn't work. Do this now.
And you got, and then that mentor has
Can you
to,
see me, honey?
that mentor, I see you. I think you got to, yeah, we move this look back a little bit so I can,
I got a
so
flower.
so I can look deeply into your
I
eyes.
got a flower in me.
I think mentors now are in many cases uh, they are hesitant to be honest. Many mentors, and I don't think that's a good mentor. I don't think you can really consider yourself a mentor. A mentor has
Mm.
to be given permission by you
Mm.
to be honest, to
Yeah.
be to be to be upfront
Well,
and to tell you the
and
truth.
if I'm paying you to be my mentor, then I'm not going to say nothing wrong because I want to keep being paid.
Were we paying for mentors now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. People paying for mentors.
Well, that may be something for another time, another day. That that we're paying spiritual fathers, we're paying mentors.
Mm.
It makes me wonder where someone's heart is.
Hmm.
I want I want someone to mentor me who really cares about me,
Okay.
not what I'm giving them, or not how much money I'm paying them. I
Mm.
want a mentor to really care about my well-being,
Yeah.
and and I also want my mentor to have had success in the area that he is or she is mentoring me in.
Wow.
because
Okay.
because we have a tendency to pick people based up on their persona. Like they appear to be awesome,
Mhm.
but when you really drill down, they're not as awesome as they appear to be. So I want someone uh to have had success in what they're going to mentor me in.
That's good.
So your mom was kind of your mentor.
She was. She trained me. She, well, us girls, and spoke into our lives and um, taught us what to do, what not to do.
In regards to what?
Well, keeping the house clean. She always used to say, "Okay, everybody, Saturday morning, you getting up, you cleaning."
So
And
we see on Saturday mornings we got up and watched cartoons.
get up and get this house clean.
We watch cartoons on Saturday mornings.
No.
So Johnny Quest.
No, we got
Or
up and we
Scooby Dooby Doo.
cleaned up.
Where are you?
Yeah, we
So
watched it afterwards after you get finished cleaning
oh,
up. And so she was always was like, "Come on, ain't no man gonna want no dirty house, so get on up and clean up." So we cleaned up and
oh my goodness.
yeah, we
So
changed the linen on the bed and um, did it all. Showed us how to do military folding the sheets and tucking the corners and um, cleaning the bathrooms, getting on our floor and cleaning. And
wow.
said, don't nobody like a nasty house. So our house was usually always clean.
So let's be controversial,
Okay.
right? Right. Since we're there,
Since we're there. Okay.
uh, I think in our modern culture,
Hmm.
women are encouraged to be the best version of themselves,
Hmm.
to ascend the corporate ladder, to be success in business. Um, and I'm all for that.
Mhm.
I am absolutely
Yeah.
110% support that.
Right.
But from what I'm hearing you say,
Mhm.
and you can correct me if I'm wrong,
Okay.
what I'm hearing you say is your mother raised you to be a good mom and a good wife.
She did. And and to save money too. She raised us also to do that. Whatever.
Well, it's like, well, I was going to say, well, that's the first area she failed in, because
What?
you were
Whatever.
horrible at that. Uh, but she tried. She gave it the old valiant try.
Whatever.
We're still working
She did.
working that out. But
Whatever.
uh, but what I'm hearing you say is that your mom raised you to be a good wife,
She did.
and
Yes.
I don't think that that is what we do anymore.
Mm-mm.
We don't raise women to be nurturing. We raise them to be independent, and I'm
Mhm.
all for that. We've raised our daughter to be independent.
Mhm.
We raised them to, to ascend the corporate ladder,
Mhm.
and there's no problem with that at all, because we've raised our daughter to do that.
Mhm.
But I don't think that most girls are taught how to be a wife. And I don't even know if that's still a thing.
Mm. Mm.
I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know if that's a thing. But when when people are not trained,
Mhm.
they go into the situation uh with no understanding of what needs to happen.
Mm.
I remember early on, like when we first got married, you always knew what to do. You always knew you could always, I mean, because early on, the food was scarce, and you always knew how to go in the kitchen and work some black magic and come up with
We
a
gotta
wonderful
eat.
dinner. You always knew how to make the house, our house, wherever we lived.
Mhm.
You always knew how to make it inviting. I don't know. We might have to have a whole podcast on if that's still a thing now,
Mm. It
because
might
I
not
don't
be,
know.
but it can be if people want it to be. I mean, hit me up. Come to
I
my
don't.
training.
I don't know. But I'm serious. I don't know if that's still a thing.
Mm.
I don't
It
think.
might
I
not
think
be.
that's frowned upon. There's a TV show that I watched from the '60s, and it's called The Rifleman, and you don't like that very much,
Every
but I,
night.
I love I love the Rifleman. But they give a disclaimer now.
Yeah.
They give a disclaimer as it's coming on, and basically they're saying that this show will contain outdated
Mm.
cultural references.
Okay.
And what they're
Wow.
referring to is, back then in the Wild Wild West, where this takes place, that women basically were kept barefoot and pregnant,
Mm.
and they took care of the house, and that was their responsibility
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
cater to their husbands. And I don't think that's what you were trained to do. And I don't
No.
think your mother
No,
trained
just
you to cater
solely.
to some man,
No, no, she didn't.
but I think she prepared you for marriage.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's still a thing. I don't know if that is a reasonable expectation now.
Mm. And I guess if you're gonna, you got to know to ask for it,
Ask for what?
the training.
But I don't know if it's a thing.
Oh,
So I
okay.
think I think we need to do, maybe have a young school couple, one of the
Mm.
maybe the couples here at the church, and uh,
That's nice.
maybe see kind of, our mindset as it relates to marriage versus their
Yeah.
mindset.
Mhm.
I think that would be.
That's nice.
I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
Okay.
Maybe the next one. I don't know. Just have a younger couple, and let's just see how the expectations of marriage
Mm.
have changed from when we got married
Okay.
in 1984
Mhm.
to how what is the expectation now?
Mhm.
Because
We're outdated.
maybe we're outdated.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe
Mhm.
we're outdated.
Mhm.
Maybe that's what we're saying is not a thing anymore.
Mhm.
But I will say this, outdated or not, 40 years later it's still working.
Okay. Hey. You high five me?
High five.
Okay.
So, whether it's a thing or not, I don't know.
Oh,
But let's do a podcast on that
okay.
because we always want to remain relevant
Mhm.
in everything that we say and do. And so some of the things that we say is from our perspective
Mhm.
that has worked for us, and we always say that every marriage has to find its own flow.
Right.
So maybe what we're saying, maybe that's not a thing anymore.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I know that your mother trained you to be a wife,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and and she
And to
trained
be
you
the
very well.
best whatever I was gonna be. She always talked about education.
So she did talk
Yeah,
about it.
she
So
talked
it
about
wasn't just
yeah,
like
it's like nobody wants a dummy.
she said that too.
Yeah.
I like that point.
So so we had to go to school and learn. Taught us how to write and write neat. Um, can't nobody understand no sloppy writing. So she taught
So
us.
it wasn't all about being a wife. It
It's-
was so sounds like she trained you to be an all around
Yeah,
good person first,
that's good.
and
Yeah.
then she threw and a lot of the wife things that you learn from observing her.
Mhm. Yeah. And you got the overflow.
And I got the overflow, boy. Boy, did I ever. Um, so yeah, but I want to take today and just help couples to understand that the marriage ceremony does not make you one other
Mhm.
than ceremonially.
Yeah.
But when you get married, it is a matter of now becoming really one.
Mhm.
And that is the part that takes real work.
Yeah.
And that is a process. And unfortunately, many people don't like process.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
we have the idea that uh, things just come together. Like we just
Almost. Yeah.
automatically, when you say I do, it just automatically falls into place. But for
Mhm.
us, it is it has been a lot of work. It has been a
Mhm.
lot of blood, sweat, and tears,
Mhm.
just trying to keep it together.
Yeah.
Sometimes we were holding on by the little hairs on our chinny chin because
Man.
it was, I'm sure you had days like, what have I got myself into? Uh,
Mm.
but you never, you never talked down to me. You were always supportive. Uh, you were always in my corner, and I couldn't have asked for a better life partner than someone who supports you. Now you're gonna tell me you don't agree if
Yeah.
if you don't agree. But at the end of the day, you always support it. You never, and I've made some bad decisions, and you never threw it back up in my face. See, I told you.
Right.
You never said I don't
No.
remember ever you saying I told you
Mm-mm.
so. You might have thought it, but you
I might,
you
but I
never
no,
said it.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah.
Uh,
That's hurtful.
it is,
Yeah.
and you understand that,
Mhm.
and those are things that we have to learn to navigate.
Mhm.
Because I think you said one other time, you have to always monitor your words,
Mhm.
because once you say a thing,
It's gone.
it's out there,
Yeah.
and that hurt, uh,
It's there.
it's there,
Mhm.
and now we got we got to try to navigate that.
Yeah.
So we've tried to always monitor what we say.
Mhm.
We try to monitor how we say it. We try to monitor when we say it.
Right. And
Uh,
we don't play mean. I know a lot of people, husbands and wives, they do. Like jokingly talk down to each other. Uh, I will remember stuff like that. Like, oh, da da da. Oh, look at your feet. Are your feet big? And, stuff like that.
no,
Yeah. I don't do
you call
that.
that playing mean? We
Yeah.
don't play
Because
mean.
you're going to remember that. And
Yeah.
subconsciously, it's like, oh, well, I guess I better go get my feet done because he did say my feet was big and ugly. And I mean, when you by yourself, your mind start talking to you, and you're like, okay, you don't forget stuff when people say stuff to you.
So we always have to monitor what we say.
Yeah,
We have to monitor how we say it.
how we say it, how
Uh,
we play it.
yeah,
Yeah.
because both parties in the relationship come from someplace.
Mhm.
They come from certain circumstances,
Yeah.
and uh, we have to always keep in mind that people, um, they might leave a particular situation and come into this new situation with
Mhm.
you,
Yeah.
but when you leave, you bring everything that you've been through, you bring it with you.
Yeah.
And so we have to recognize that and then learn how to navigate those things,
Mhm.
um, because it's all a part of becoming one.
Right.
That we're not just one because we got married, but Scripture teaches us that Adam and Eve became one,
Mhm.
and anything that you have to become means that you're not that already.
Mhm.
And so we're constantly after 40 years
Yeah.
are still in a state of becoming.
Mhm.
Um, we're in a different stage now. You have to master every
That's
stage,
good.
uh,
Mhm.
because first of all, you have the newlywed stage, and we have to navigate that,
Mhm.
because everything is happy, it's fresh, it's new.
Mhm.
Uh, but then, uh, as the seasons change,
Mhm.
and you navigate now when children come on the scene,
Right.
and you have to navigate how how that works. How much time do we give to our children
Mm.
versus I think a lot of times people give a lot of time to their children but not their spouse.
Mhm.
So their spouse, particularly most so the husband,
Mhm.
always seems to be left out.
Mm.
And this is what I know,
Okay.
that everybody needs affirmation. Everybody needs support. And if my spouse is not giving it to me,
Mhm.
I am going to find it somewhere.
Somewhere. Somewhere. Yeah.
So I'm going to find it somewhere. So
Mhm.
uh, sometimes we open up doors that we don't really mean to open up.
Mhm.
When you neglect your spouse, you're opening up a door.
Yeah. That's true.
Um, I know sometimes you've been out at the stores and stuff, and you come home and tell me that some man tried to holler at you and stuff.
Mhm.
Well, you already knew that.
So, like,
I mean,
boy,
you
you
already
ain't
you
no
already
comparison,
you
okay?
already you already got
The good
the
thing at
good
home.
thing
Step on.
at the crib.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-mm.
but if I had neglected you, you would
Yeah.
probably would be more receptive
Mhm.
of
He,
those advances, because everybody needs to feel
mhm.
like somebody wants them.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be needed.
Mhm.
Everybody wants to feel like they matter.
Yeah.
And so we try to give that understanding or that
Mhm.
recognition to each other.
Right.
So then there's really no real reason to seek that other places.
Mhm.
So uh,
That's true.
you which
I agree.
we've tried to do that.
Mhm.
Um, and then when the kids come on the scene, and that's another thing. And then as you are, then you're progressing up the corporate ladder,
Mhm.
you gotta kind of find a balance between that
Work, yeah.
work and home balance,
Mhm.
because you gotta make sure that stays in balance.
Mhm.
Uh, so everything has to be navigated.
Right.
Everything, and at every level, it's a learning curve.
Mhm.
And we just got to keep that in mind. And I know you get a lot of calls from people wanting advice from you, and I do as well. And we just try to give the best advice that we can,
Mhm.
uh, and to try to help people navigate, because at every level there is a learning curve,
Yeah.
and you just gotta kind of be on guard for it. What do you think about uh, one of the things that we tried to do, and I guess as the head, as the like the pastor and the first lady, that's one of our hats, and then we have other hats that we wear.
Mhm.
We got a lot of hats. Uh, there's this aspect of uh, learning boundaries, setting boundaries, because no matter what hat we have, the most important hat for me is father and husband.
Mhm.
That's and I would think
It's
the most important
mother.
hats, and out of all the hats that you wear,
Yeah.
mother and wife
Yeah.
is
It's,
your most
it
important.
is.
So uh, we have to learn how to set boundaries.
Mhm.
So uh, we need work at that, because both of us have
A lot to
really
do.
sensed, and we have sincere hearts.
Mhm.
So people are always calling us, and people are always pulling on us, and so we have to understand that every text
Mhm.
you might not be able to answer right away.
Right away.
I might be out to dinner with you, or I
Mhm.
might be in the middle of something else, and we always try to make the person that we're with feel like they're the
More
most
important.
important thing at the
Yeah.
moment.
Or
So,
like when I call you and you might be in a meeting or whatever and you don't pick up the phone or something, you know how crazy I can get. Cause if you don't answer this phone, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna keep calling you back until you like, what was you doing?
well, see, that's one of the things when we talk about baggage.
Yeah. Mhm.
You talk about your mom was very nurturing,
Mhm.
but you did not mention your father.
My father. My father. What you want me to say about my father?
Well, you say what you want to say, but I know what you've told me.
Okay. Well,
About leaving.
he left. He'd be like, Mama be like, "Where you going?" "I'm out. Gotta make a run. When you be back? Quick as I can."
So you saw
Yeah,
that,
yeah. Quick as
and
I can. It's not no answer.
well, he's grown.
He was grown, but sure, she was good.
So you wouldn't have put up with that.
Not at all. You come back, see if them doors don't be locked. You ain't getting up in here. Next time you gonna tell me where you go and when you gonna come back.
Well, when we got married, I understood that was part of your baggage.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
so I always try to say, "Hey, I'm going to be here,
Right.
and and you know, I'll be in this meeting at this
That's
time."
good. And they didn't have trackers on your phone and your cars back then.
Oh, so you track now.
No, I don't track now. I trust you, but if I didn't, yeah, then I had
Well, I
that all.
track you.
I know you do, but you do it for my safety. It better be.
Well, that's one of the reasons I do
Yeah,
it.
okay.
I just want to know where you're at,
Yeah.
because I miss you.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, but so I mean, yeah, I understood that was some of
Mhm.
your baggage,
Yeah.
that
You gotta
you had
tell me.
issues with your dad,
Mhm.
you not knowing where your dad was.
Right.
I think you told me that when your mom uh, went into labor with you,
Mhm.
that you guys couldn't get in touch with your dad.
They ain't know where he was at.
So how did they get your mom to the hospital?
Well, she took a taxi to the hospital, and my aunt knew where my father was and told him about it, so he came up to the hospital. And here I am.
So yeah, so
Yeah, everybody got baggage.
we all have baggage.
Yeah, so you got to work on it and be, is that sympathetic
Yeah,
with the other person, like
patient.
patient.
You got to be
Yeah,
patient
that's
with them.
part of it, ain't it? Help.
Yeah.
Yeah, patient. You have to be patient. It can't be like, oh, get over it. I'm not that type of person.
Well,
No.
that's what I used to think.
Yeah.
That's what I used to think, and I'm thinking like, why is that such a big deal?
Well, you did say that. I'm not that man.
I told you that
You
one
did
time.
say
I
that.
told you that I wasn't
Yeah.
your dad.
Yeah, you
That
did say
I'm
that.
going. I'm going away, but I'm coming back. I
I
will
will
come again.
return. Okay.
I will
Mm.
come again and receive you unto myself. Uh, so I I I I I
Yeah.
learned that early on that that was a thing for you.
Right.
That you had
You had to tell
abandonment
me.
issues.
Yeah.
Really, is what they were
Is that
called.
what it is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't, and so you
Don't leave me.
don't. So I always told you, hey, I'm gonna be here or I'm gonna be there,
Mhm.
and this is who I'm gonna be with, and
Mhm.
I'll be gone probably a couple 3 hours, or I'll be gone all day.
Yeah.
But you always be able to get in touch with me. So
Yeah.
that's just navigating,
Mhm. And somebody else may have something else that they
right?
working on.
Right?
This might be, that might be what I was had to go through. Oh, that's simple. That wouldn't even bother me if they went here and there and there. But for me, it did.
Yeah. Well, everybody's issues are important to them,
Mm. Mhm.
and a lot of times we compare what we're strong in to what others are weak in. So I'm comparing my strength to your
Yeah.
weakness, and
That's
so
not fair.
that's not fair.
Yeah.
So if it's I've always taken the position, and I think you have as well, that if it's important to her, then it's important to me.
That's good.
So I know, knowing that that was an issue for you,
Mhm.
I've tried to over the years just to assure you
Yeah.
that, hey, I'll be back soon, and you know where I am, and of course you can get in touch with me
You've done
if you need
good.
to.
And
So
remember when I used to ride up on you and stuff? Like,
I thought you just missed me.
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Oops. Yeah, that was it.
I didn't know I didn't know you were riding up on me.
Yeah, I missed you. That was it.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now that I know you knew all my years at UPS, you knew my routes almost as well as I did. So it's at 1 o'clock. He should be here.
He's supposed to be,
It's at 2 o'clock. He should be here. Uh,
"Hi, honey."
yeah. So we've just tried to navigate that.
Mhm.
Every marriage is going to have struggle. Every marriage is going to have ebbs and flows. And we have looked at Hollywood, and Hollywood has painted us an irresponsible picture of what marriage looks
Mm.
like. That every problem can be solved in a 30-minute sitcom. Uh, but there's some things that's going to take us a minute to work through.
Mhm.
We got to work through it. We got to dig in. We got to remain calm, and just understand that this is a
Yeah.
process. We are in the state of becoming.
That's nice.
And when I understand, and when you understand that, and we tell people that every marriage needs help.
Mhm.
Every marriage needs help, and
Yeah.
what that's what this podcast is born of. Our desire is that we provide uh, help to
Mhm.
marriages, and again, that acronym is honesty, empathy, love, and patience.
Patience.
And
Mhm.
that's what I think. If we provide those things, then we'll all be fine.
Mhm.
We'll still have our challenges, but we'll work through it.
That's good.
So I hope that we said some things today that perhaps helped you to to have different thoughts and different perspectives on how to navigate certain situations. That's our goal. That's
Mhm.
our goal. And so until next time, I'm Dwight,
I'm Dewanda.
and we
We're the
are the Washingtons.
Washingtons.
Thank you for tuning in to
Amen.
the Help Podcast. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.
Bye bye.